Let's now ask our colleague, Mr. Peters, to discuss his bill, H.R. 5538. Mr. Peters, you're now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, and we certainly welcome the guests today. I appreciate your allowing me to testify today for my bill, the Reserve Component Vocational Rehabilitation Parity Act. Let me thank first General Jack Bergman, who joined me to introduce this bill, and 5 of our committee colleagues who's co-sponsored the bill. And I also want to thank the committee staff, who always does great work as well. So many guardsmen and reservists have realized they don't qualify for all their benefits since the Department of Defense began using their new authority to call up reserve components for involuntary service. The new authority unintentionally excluded these guardsmen and reservists in a way in which I will talk about. Thankfully, Ranking Member Walz and Mr. Palazzo have taken the lead to secure benefits for them, and we passed a few important fixes in the Forever GI Bill last year. One unresolved issue is access to vocational rehabilitation. So the this VA program provides critical job training that helps service members and veterans find their career path after they've completed their service. Upon separation, there's a rule that veterans need to use their vocational rehab benefits within 12 years. They need the time to consider when and whether to take advantage of that benefit. But on separation from active duty, as you know, a reservist can be called to spend some of those months or years deployed. So currently, 2 reservists serving side by side in active duty may not have access to the same amount of time to take advantage of the benefits, because the reservists who volunteered under current law to serve will have the vocational rehab benefit time, the 12-year, extended while they're deployed. But the reservist who is involuntarily deployed does not get that extension. So it's really a distinction with no reason. It's a simple fix. The guardsmen and reservists who served honorably in missions to support combat zones, they've provided the same service, they've earned the same employment and education benefits as any other reservists through their service. There's no reason to create a distinction between those who volunteers and those who were called on involuntarily. So my bill would just ensure reservists and guardsmen will have access to that full 12-year window to use their vocational rehab benefits. Proud that the bill, it's a simple bill, it's supported by the National Guard Association of the United States and the Reserve Officers Association. Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent that their letters of support be added to the record.
No objection.
I also want to commend my colleague, Ms. Brownlee, for her work to ensure veterans of all ages have access to vocational rehab in the future. But in the meantime, this bill provides some certainty for the guardsmen and reservists who need this fix now. I appreciate your attention today. I hope you will support the legislation and yield back the remainder of my time.
Thank you, Mr.